Ladies and jobbers, Kayfabe superstars of all ages, I am PBR, and this is my comprehensive guide to the Grand Slam, Part 1, Shawn Michaels. First and foremost, what is the Grand Slam? Well, over the last 22 years, that question has gotten more than a little complicated. But in the beginning, it simply meant winning all 4 championships the WWF had at the time. The WWF, Intercontinental, Tag Team, and European Championships. It gets more complicated, but for now, we'll leave it at that. The Grand Slam concept was born on February 26, 1997, when the WWF introduced the European Championship. The inaugural champion was the British Bulldog, which makes sense. You know what else makes sense? In classic WWE fashion, over the course of the 5 years the title was active, there were 27 European champions, and all of 2 of them, British Bulldog and William Regal, were actually European. But I digress. In this series, I'm going to introduce you to each of the 19 Grand Slam champions. We'll also take a look at a handful of Triple Crown winners who should be Grand Slam champion, and some who might become Grand Slam champions. In the end, we will attempt to determine who was the best Grand Slam champion of all time. As we go along, I'll attempt to guide you through the complicated history of the Grand Slam format and the lineages of the various titles. Now, that's enough intro. Let's get into part 1, the showstopper. Mr. WrestleMania, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Boom! Michael Shawn Hickenbottom was born July 22, 1965 in Chandler, Arizona. Born into a military family, he bounced around through his early years but was ultimately raised in San Antonio, Texas. As early as August 1984, at the tender age of 19, Shawn Michaels began working for Mid-South Wrestling. In fact, according to CageMatch.net, which, by the way, is the single greatest pro wrestling database on all of the internet, his second match ever, on October 10, 1984, saw Shawn teaming with somebody called Jim Horton, not to be confused with Tim Horton for our Canadian fans, against the team of Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Hercules Hernandez. Throughout 1984 to 1986, he would share the Mid-South ring with a number of recognizable names, including the Midnight Express, Buddy Landel, the not-yet million-dollar man Ted DiBiase, Tim Horner, not to be confused with Tim Horton for our Canadian fans, the One-Man Gang, Billy Jack Haynes, Jake, not yet the Snake because Bill Watts vetoed the hell out of the idea Roberts, Kamala, and the Barbarian. No, not that Barbarian, this Barbarian, aka John Nord, the Berserker. He eventually found a home in Vern Gagne's AWA, where he was ultimately paired with Marty Jannetty, forming the Midnight Rockers, and even winning the AWA Tag Team Championship twice. And I have to add a personal note here. Looking through all the AWA results during his time there, they ran shows throughout my home state of Wisconsin. They were in Appleton, Milwaukee, Green Bay, Manitowoc, Wausau, Stevens Point, Glenwood City, I didn't even know that was a place, Racine, Wautoma, Watertown, Marshfield, River Falls, Sturgeon Bay, Neenah, Shawano, Brown Deer, and Waukesha. Quick sidebar, this one was a match where Shawn and Marty tagged with Jimmy Snuka in a 6-man tag against Boris Zukov, Doug Summers, and Kevin Kelly. No, not that Kevin Kelly. This Kevin Kelly, a.k.a. Kevin Wacholtz, a.k.a. Nails. Conspicuously absent from that list is my hometown of Madison. Anyway, Shawn's first televised match in the WWF was a tag match with Marty as the Rockers at a WWF Wrestling Challenge taping on May 31, 1988. They defeated Terry Gibbs and the Conquistador. Shawn's first title opportunity came later that year, October 24, 1988, on the WWF on MSG Network. The Rockers lost to the tag team champions Demolition. The Rockers did beat the Hart Foundation for the tag titles on October 30th, 1990 at a main event taping. But that was the famous, or infamous, 2 out of 3 falls match where the top rope broke. And instead of fixing it and then resuming the taping, the company decided, just go ahead with the match. Naturally, given the Rockers' high-flying tendencies, the lack of a top rope really screwed things up, the match wasn't great, and it was never aired. The Rockers did defend the tag titles at a house show in Augusta, Georgia a few nights later, but ultimately the WWF went with the "pretend it never happened, pal" approach and quietly returned the title to the Hart Foundation. Officially, the match never happened and the championship never left the Hart Foundation. So Shawn's first official title win came on Saturday night's main event on October 27, 1992, when he defeated the British Bulldog for the Intercontinental Championship. Shawn became a Grand Slam champion on September 20th, 1997, when he won the European Championship, again from the British Bulldog. Poor guy. Now, let's get to Shawn's history with the titles. First up, the secondary championships. In time, this section will eventually include the Hardcore and United States Championships, but Shawn Michaels never had so much as a single match for those two, so his only history with secondary championships is with the European Championship. And even at that, he only had 5 matches for a 2-2-1 record. That's not much, but it's enough to make history. So, number 1 of 1. September 20th, 1997, the one-night-only pay-per-view. Oh, come on. There it is. The one-night-only pay-per-view in Birmingham, England. This victory over the British Bulldog kicked off Shawn's one and only European title reign, which would last 82 days before he lost the title to Triple H on the December 11th episode of Raw is War in Lowell, Massachusetts. Quick sidebar, that loss wasn't really a title defense, as he was also WWF champion at the time, so he intentionally lost the match to Triple H in just over a minute. One more quick sidebar. Lowell, Massachusetts was the very same place where, just 10 months earlier, Shawn had vacated the WWF Championship when he lost his smile. More on that, and his tendency to vacate titles, later. Next up, the Tag Team Championship. Number 1. August 28, 1994. Shawn Michaels and Diesel defeated the Headshrinkers at a house show in Indianapolis, Indiana to win the WWF Tag Team Championship. This reign lasted 87 days before they vacated the titles due to their kayfabe inability to function as a team. Number 2, September 24th, 1995, the In Your House 3 pay-per-view in Saginaw, Michigan. Shawn Michaels and Diesel put Shawn's Intercontinental and Diesel's WWF titles on the line against the tag team titles of Yokozuna and Owen Hart. However, for this one night, the tag titles were defended by Yokozuna and the British Bulldog. Shawn and Diesel won the match and the title by pinning Owen Hart. It's complicated. This title reign lasted only one day, as the titles were restored to Yokozuna and Owen Hart due to the controversial finish of the previous night's match. Number 3, May 26, 1997, Raw is War in Evansville, Indiana. Shawn Michaels, now paired with Stone Cold Steve Austin, defeated Owen Hart and the British Bulldog to win the title. This somewhat forgotten title reign lasted 49 days before the titles were again vacated, this time due to Michaels' real-life suspension following a backstage fight with Bret Hart in June. Number 4, January 29, 2007, Monday Night Raw in Dallas, Texas. Shawn Michaels and then WWE Champion John Cena defeated Team Rated RKO, Edge and Randy Orton, to win what was now called the World Tag Team Championship. This reign lasted 63 days, during which the two of them had an excellent WWE Championship match in the main event of WrestleMania 23. I mean, look at this. Boom. God damn, pal. That move better be outlawed. Jeez. I mean, it legitimately did bust Cena's head open, so, ugh. Anyway. The following night, April 2nd, 2007, on Monday Night Raw in Dayton, Ohio, they were put in back-to-back tag team battle royals for the titles. They successfully defended their championship in the first, but lost to the Hardy Boys in the second. I should point out here that they lost because Michaels turned on Cena and eliminated him. That will be important later. Number 5, December 13th, 2009, the TLC pay-per-view in San Antonio, Texas. Shawn Michaels and Triple H, the once again resurrected D-Generation X, defeated Chris Jericho and The Big Show in a tables, ladders, and chairs match to capture the unified WWE Tag Team Championship. They held the title for 57 days, until February 8th, 2010, when they lost to The Big Show and The Miz on Monday Night Raw in Lafayette, Louisiana, in a triple threat match that also involved CM Punk and Luke Gallows. I only point out that last detail because in this match, Shawn Michaels actually took the pinfall. It was just the second of his 5 tag team title reigns to end in a match, and the only one of the 5 to end with Shawn losing. All in all, Shawn had 68 tag team championship matches, 12 for the unified WWE tag team title, and 56 for the World/WWF tag team title. And overall, he went 51-16-1 and had 5 title reigns lasting a combined 257 days. Technically, he had 6, of course, but since that Rockers win over the Hart Foundation never aired and the WWF erased the title change, it doesn't officially count, and Michaels officially had 5. At any rate, he had 10 different partners over the course of those 68 title matches. Diesel for 30 matches, 2 title reigns, and a 29-1 record. Triple H for 15 matches, 1 title reign, and a 10-4-1 record. Marty Jannetty for 8 matches, 0 title reigns, and a 3-5 record. John Cena for 6 matches, 1 title reign, and a 5-1 record. Steve Austin for 2 matches, 1 title reign, and a 1-1 record. Lex Luger for 2 matches and a 2-0 record. Shelton Benjamin for 2 matches and an 0-2 record. Ahmed Johnson, 1 match, 1-0 record. Chris Benoit, 1 match, 0-1 record. And finally, Psycho Sid for 1 match and an 0-1 record. Next up, the Intercontinental Championship. Before I start, if you didn't notice a trend developing in the European and tag team titles section, you may pick up on it here. Let's take a look. Number 1, October 27th, 1992, Saturday night's main event in Terre Haute, Indiana. Shawn Michaels defeated the British Bulldog. This became Shawn's second longest title reign of any kind, lasting 202 days before he dropped the title to Marty Jannetty on Monday Night Raw at the Manhattan Center on May 17th, 1993. Number 2, June 6th, 1993. Shockingly, after just 20 days, Shawn defeated Marty Jannetty at a house show in Albany, New York. This second reign for Shawn lasted 113 days before the title was vacated. This time, it was stripped from him after he failed a drug test and was subsequently suspended. However, he refused to return the belt itself, forcing the WWF to make a new belt for their new champion, Razor Ramon. This display of petulance turned out to be a blessing in disguise, however, as he brought his belt with him when he returned, setting up a great angle that led to a legendary ladder match at WrestleMania 10. Number 3, July 23rd, 1995, the In Your House 2 pay-per-view in Nashville, Tennessee. Shawn defeated Jeff Jarrett. That's Jarrett. This title reign lasted 91 days and ended when he vacated the title due to his inability to compete after he was assaulted outside a bar in Syracuse, New York. Lest you start feeling sympathy, however, I should point out that at the In Your House 4 pay-per-view on October 22nd, the title was forfeited to Dean Douglas, who was immediately put into a match with, of all people, Razor Ramon. And, of course, he won the match right then and there. Click politics. Anyway, all in all, Shawn Michaels had a whopping 249 Intercontinental Championship matches, in which he went 101, 136, and 12. He had 3 title reigns lasting a combined 406 days. Now, let's get to the big ones, the primary titles. Have you spotted the theme yet, by the way? Because if you haven't, then I don't know if I can help you. Number 1, March 31st, 1996, WrestleMania 12 in Anaheim, California. Shawn defeated Bret Hart in a 60-minute Iron Man match to win his first WWF Championship. This reign lasted 231 days, his longest title reign of any kind, until he dropped the title to Psycho Sid at the Survivor Series in New York City on November 17th, 1996. Number 2, January 19th, 1997. Shawn Michaels defeated Psycho Sid, imagine that, at the Royal Rumble in San Antonio, Texas. This kicked off a reign that lasted all of 25 days before he vacated the title on February 13, 1997, at a Thursday Raw Thursday in Lowell, Massachusetts. I have no idea why they put Thursday in the title twice, but they did. Anyway, he vacated the title due to complications from a lost smile and a bad case of not wanting to drop the title to Bret Hart-itis. Well, I should take that back. It was a knee injury. Just that. Nothing more. Nothing to see here. Let's move on. Oh boy. Number 3, November 9th, 1997, the Survivor Series in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. The Montreal Screwjob. If you're watching this video, I assume I don't need to explain what that is. But maybe you're a younger fan, and this was so much before your time that it's ancient history. So for your sake, here's a quick rundown of the facts. Bret Hart was the champion, but he was leaving for WCW. He didn't want to drop the title to Shawn Michaels at the Survivor Series, so Vince conspired with Shawn, a few agents, and referee Earl Hebner to get a spot into the match where Shawn would put Bret in a sharpshooter. Once that happened, Hebner and Vince, who was at ringside, called for the bell, and amidst the chaos, Shawn became the new WWF champion. This reign lasted 140 days before he dropped the title to Steve Austin in the main event of WrestleMania 14 in Boston. Number 4, November 17th, 2002, the Survivor Series again, this time in New York City. Shawn Michaels version 2.0, who had only just returned a few months earlier after missing 4 years due to back injuries, defeated Booker T, Chris Jericho, Kane, Rob Van Dam, and then-champion Triple H in the first ever Elimination Chamber match to win the World Heavyweight Championship. This was a short reign, only lasting 28 days before he dropped the title back to Triple H in a 3 Stages of Hell match at the Armageddon 2002 event on December 15th in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Overall, Shawn racked up a grand total of 146 primary championship matches, 128 for the WWF/WWE title, and 18 for the World Heavyweight Championship. He went 114, 28, and 4, phenomenal record, and had 4 title reigns lasting a combined 424 days. Now, if you've watched this video this far, and you still haven't spotted the theme, I will just go ahead and spell it out. Shawn Michaels didn't like to do jobs. For those of you who weren't counting along at home, I'll break it down. Shawn Michaels had 13 separate title reigns. Of those 13 reigns, 6 of them ended without a match, either by vacating the title or having it stripped from him. Of the remaining 7, 2 of them ended by losing to Triple H, one of which was an intentional loss. Of the remaining 5, 1 was a battle royal in which he wasn't eliminated, and 2 were losses where he got the belt right back 20 and 63 days later. This leaves 2 times out of 13 title reigns where he did the job cleanly and without getting the title right back. February 8th, 2010, when The Miz pinned him to end the DX Tag Team title run, and March 29th, 1998, when Steve Austin pinned him to end Shawn's last WWF title run. And even that one, he probably only agreed to it because his back was all kinds of messed up and he needed surgery, and he still regularly threatened not to do the match. Shawn Michaels is, without a doubt, one of the best performers in the history of pro wrestling. There's no doubt about that. But god damn it, man, that's an ugly, ugly record. Finally, let's talk about Grand Slam feuds. A Grand Slam feud is where 2 superstars face each other in matches for 4 different qualifying titles. Over the course of my research for these videos, I discovered that this is a remarkably rare thing. Among all 19 Grand Slam champions, there have only been 14 Grand Slam feuds, and one of those, surprisingly, is between 2 people who aren't Grand Slam champions, but we'll get there. So that rarity makes it especially surprising that in Shawn's case, he actually had 2. Number 1, the British Bulldog. Shawn Michaels and the British Bulldog were involved in 68 matches together between November 24th, 1988 and September 20th, 1997. Over the course of those 9 years, they had 33 championship matches, 6 for the WWF, 3 for the tag team, 23 for the Intercontinental, and 1 for the European title. Shawn won the feud with 20 wins to Bulldog's 12, and they had one match that was technically a draw, that being the 1992 Royal Rumble match that was for the WWF Championship, and of course neither of them won. The second Grand Slam feud was with Owen Hart. Shawn Michaels and Owen Hart were involved in 36 matches together from February 1st, 1993 to January 4th, 1998. They had 9 title matches, 2 for the WWF, 2 for the Intercontinental, 4 for the tag team, and 1 match that was for both Owen's Intercontinental and Shawn's European Championship. Shawn won that feud as well, but it was a little closer. Shawn had 5, Owen had 3, and they had 1 draw. Well, that's it for the first installment of this series. I tried to keep it short, and I still wound up with over 3,000 words, so I apologize for that. My goal is to make these videos interesting, accessible, and entertaining without being long-winded and boring. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Go ahead and subscribe to the Kayfabe Soup YouTube channel, and I'll be back soon with Part 2, The Cerebral Assassin, The King of Kings, The Game, Triple H. Outside of this series, check out Kayfabe Soup on Patreon. We have a kick-ass predictions game for all the big shows and a fantasy wrestling league. That's www.patreon.com/kayfabesoup. We've also got t-shirts for sale at www.prowrestlingtees.com/kayfabesoup, and there are 2 new designs coming in the very near future. But wait, there's more. Check out the Kayfabe Soup Weekly Podcast. New episodes drop every Thursday, right here on YouTube, of course, but also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, and basically everywhere that pods are casted. And finally, social media. Follow us on Facebook, and also Twitter and Instagram at Kayfabe Soup. And that's it. Like and share this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. I am PBR, on behalf of Kayfabe Soup, signing off. Top Guys out.